Mazvikokota wepanyika wanoda kutiso amwe tionese moto dai pasina kupindira kwaishe kana dzimba dzedu dzingadai dziri dzawo mawanzira.
The 3-story beautiful house, it is demolished. This is the situation right now in partnership with Cotrad. And in studio this evening I'm joined by parliamentarians. The chairperson of the Environmental Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, Yvonne Musarurwa. Thank you very much. And Vincent Tsvangirai, the MP in one of the areas where some land barons have been taking shape there and people have lost houses. Thank you very much for joining us, Vincent.
Thanks for having me.
And my friend and colleague, Tatenda Mavetera from ZANU-PF, a member of parliament. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much, please. Hello, viewers.
Right. Now I'll start with you, Chairperson of the Environmental Portfolio Committee. There's a threat to wetlands. And as you saw this time around, we had serious rainfall, and in areas like Chitungwiza, in Masvingo, the people have lost their household because houses have been flooded, because homes were allowed to be built on wetlands. Are you aware of these challenges?
Yes, I'm aware of these challenges, and Parliament of Zimbabwe is also aware of these challenges as well, to such an extent that we did a fact-finding and we came up with 2 reports from the wetlands issue.
Let us talk about the reports. Just give us a bit of insights in those reports.
Okay. As Parliament of Zimbabwe, we need to conserve our wetlands and at the same time want proper planning of human settlement. From our fact-finding mission, we came up with a legislative program to protect the environment and victims of land barons in 4 focused areas, which are: number 1, mapping of wetlands. We need to monitor it and ensure that it is done based on a scientific criteria in covering all wetlands that have already been converted to development. Number 2, wetlands policy and guidelines. Parliament will scrutinize them and make proposal to improve them where we see any loopholes. Then we have number 3, private ownership of land on wetlands. Parliament will explore ways to address this issue and continue to advocate for proper town planning, especially developing a national environment plan. Number 4, amendment of the Environment Management Act. Parliament will ensure that the amendment incorporates and consolidates all relevant existing legislation in order to remove the duplications relating to wetlands management and covering the problem of private individual holding title deed over wetlands.
Okay.
This is the role that we are playing.
We'll come back to you, Madam Chair. But Vincent, let us talk about this honourable. It's nice to have young honourable members. You can call them by their first name. But Vincent, let us talk about the problem. This problem is in your constituency. How have you dealt with this issue where people built their homes, they built them on wetlands, they've lost property? Some of these houses now are being deemed illegal and they're supposed to be demolished if others have not already been demolished.
Thanks, Blessed. I think maybe the best way I can probably come into the issue is that you only don't look at wetlands as a housing issue, but there's also factors that there are also cultural issues when it comes to wetlands. There are environmental issues and there's the housing issue. So with the housing issue, I've gone and spoken to some of the residents that were there. They were very distraught and upset about the issues. In my capacity, there's only so much I can do, but we've tried where we can. I can't relocate, but I think that's an issue that's being dealt with council level, because the problem that's taking place is an issue of land barons, but land barons are doing these issues through council. So those are the issues, especially through our party, that we're trying to address right now. For viewers maybe who don't know, in Glenview, there are actually people who still believe in cultural issues of wetlands. For example, wetlands are considered the womb of a woman. And when rains come, those are considered a man's seed. So there are people who still practice those things, and these are things that are actually affecting them reality-wise on the ground. So some of these cultural leaders, I've spoken to one of them, as well as some of the wetland associations that are there in Glenview. They have brought their issues to attention for me. From time to time, I do deal with them on aspects of what we can do in terms of fixing issues of the wetlands that are being taken up. When you look at the housings that were put on those wetlands, we're just trying to address them as we go.
Amazing. Tatenda, let's talk about the investigations around wetlands and the position papers that have been put together by government. This current government has shown its interest in dealing with these issues of illegal settlements and stuff like that. Have you as Parliament seen or had a moment to interact with these investigations?
All right, thank you very much for that question. Indeed, as Parliament, yes, we have had that opportunity whereby we managed to interact with either the victims and also even some of the people that would actually have petitioned Parliament. I do not belong to the Environment Committee or even the local government committee, but of course as parliamentarians we've got reports coming into play, and then when we get these reports, then we can then be able to interrogate to say really what is really the gist of this whole issue. If I look at it, looking at this issue to what was being said, we need to really take a way back and look at how EMA was established. I'm sure it was established around 2003 after there was this realization to find out that most of the people that occupied wetlands, or most of the land that was actually sold, it was sold way back, even way before the EMA was established. So because of that, now we then need to come out ourselves and say, really, if then that was done before then, and now we've got EMA, looking at what the Constitution says, that we need to respect rights, land rights, or we need to respect property rights more than environment rights, then that brings then another issue now whereby we are saying, if then we are needing to then protect the interests of the person who holds the property.
Because Tatenda Mavetera here, Honorable, says that the president of ZANU-PF and the president of Zimbabwe has said that those who are responsible should be brought to book. So the process of bringing them to book is by naming them in the first instance. Yeah.
Personally, right now, I don't have the names. But what we know is who is there. The people themselves are well known within the councils. Hence what Honorable Musarurwa had said. Councils must come up with these people that are affecting the land issues within council. That way, that issue can be tackled broadly. It's not just an issue where we say that land baron is associated with who. We need to tackle this thing broadly across the spectrum. Harare, Mashingo, every council. And like I said, it's a role to play across the board, from the top to the bottom. We need central government to play its role. We need us as MDC opposition to play our role as well. Because, like I said, if we keep apportioning blame, issues of land barring did not start yesterday, Blessed. It's been a long outstanding issues from the days of Kasukwere being there. We did not start the land barring thing, I think it was this year or last year. Only that as of late, it's taking center stage. Number one, issues of the rains, the demolitions, and what. But the problems did not start yesterday. They started in 2008. And where they started could have been an issue of political mileages, you know, where that was ZANU-PF trying to, how can I put it, seeing that MDC, they'll benefit here and they'll benefit there, so we must do this, we must do that, let's get our people there, you know. In Glenview, we have an issue whereby there's sections whereby you find that there's a number of households that have been apportioned to people, but you only get them because you're affiliated with a certain party. But those are the issues that we need to tackle.
Are you afraid of naming the certain party, Honorable? We want to have the names.
No,
which party? The MDC, because I've seen MDC councillors being arrested for illegally parceling out land. I've seen your former mayor, Herbert Gomba being arrested. I've seen Jacob Mafume. I've seen MDC people being arrested. So are you the ones who were giving MDC people land illegally?
No.
Yeah. So if you say a certain party, then...
Yeah. No, it's when I say certain parties, I'm saying affiliations. You go to Glenview, I'm forgetting the area, but you find a whole row of people with ZANU-PF regalia. That kind of gives you an idea of if you are associated with this party, you will get land. But these are the areas that are being demolished, you see. So that's the problem that's taking place right now, is that if you're affiliated with a certain group, you will get land. And those are the problems where these barons are coming from. So, like I said, it's a part where we need to stop cautioning blame, persecute the people that are causing the problems, and let's get back to the business of the day at councils. Yeah.
Interesting. You look here, Bless. Indeed, we don't have to play this blame game. It doesn't take us anywhere. But at the end of the day, we need to understand what politics is all about. What ends up happening is that because each party needs to get power, it will have to have some populist activities that it has to get into. But however, one thing that I can tell you, like what he's saying, you actually said it, whereby we need to look at this very holistically. To say who has been delegated the power to be able to be manning or to be able to be conducting daily activities when it comes to running of urban councils. Why are we not having this very prevailing in rural areas where probably there is a certain political party, which I come from, or ZANU-PF, actually manning or being involved in the daily activities? Why is it very much prevalent where we have got MDC being actually running the operations each and every single day? So for me, when I look at it, as much as he's saying that he sees ZANU-PF people wearing t-shirts in those areas, for me, I would say, who are the ones who are in control? Who has been delegated the authority to be running all that? So for me, I would say, I would totally stand and say this is actually a MDC which is involved and which is very responsible for all this. But for us here as a country, that's why you have seen the president has embraced all these operations. To say now for us, according to section 71 of the constitution, it tells that there are certain requirements that is expected for us to be able to protect the citizens, for us to make sure that they get an alternative land for them to be occupying. And I'm sure the president is very much keen and to make sure that he embraces all that.
Yeah, but
I think and this is very, very, very important. Kana mwana achingaita aita a problem that child has had. It's good for us to embrace and to correct the situation and move on. But truly speaking, MDC is responsible because it is the one which is running all these councils. So they're solely responsible for this.
No, I think Blessed, before, I think Tatenda has actually highlighted a very important point there. She had said that look at the areas that are not being affected. They are ZANU-PF run areas. And look at the areas that are being affected. Now, if you're playing your politics of the day, when you go into 2023, you're going to want your area to be seen as if it's the area that's working. And the areas of your opposing forces are the ones that are in chaos. So for Tatenda to say that the areas run by ZANU-PF are in operational standard and that the ones run by MDC are in chaos, that then actually highlights my point right there. That you are having problems whereby there's interference in terms of the MDC-run councils from whether it's the point of the ministry or whatever. But this is the problem that's taking place. Councils are being politicized. Councils are being allowed to be taken for granted because of issues of day-to-day politics. But the average person does not survive on politics. The average person wants water. The average person wants the electricity. Politics it has nothing to do with people on the ground. But we are now putting politics into the local authorities. So I think Tatenda actually put the point very clear.
Can we have a structured
administration? Yeah. And maladministration is causing to people really showing that they are failing. They failed.
Honorable Mavetera, let us have a structured conversation here, where we allow each other to exchange ideas and respect the conversation that is coming through. But you raise an issue of this MDC has failed and this whole aspect. But I saw ZANU-PF members who are responsible of parceling out land in Budiyo, in Chitungwiza, I saw Minister Chombo then going there addressing housing cooperatives like Chitepo, like, and opening some of these areas that are being demolished right now. They've been given those powers to go there and occupy that land by ZANU-PF minister, specifically Ignatius Chombo, who is now in court for abusing his power in taking up that land.
Okay.
So I want to understand, when you say it's solely an MDC, so what's wrong with these ZANU-PF guys who are being arrested?
Okay, we need to make this straight and understand this. We need to know the role of a minister and the role of councillors when it comes to any operational issues. Looking at this, yes, indeed, the minister would have come. Definitely, we have got ZANU-PF people that are actually occupying areas in the urban setup. But one thing you should understand is the minister is overall in charge. Like I said before, that the president definitely, he has to embrace every child and he has to embrace each and every citizen of Zimbabwe. So because of that, you would understand that definitely you would have had the minister then addressing people, because who would have allowed all that to happen? They need to follow certain procedures, and indeed the procedures were then not followed thoroughly, because I would say if then councils were supposed to be doing the daily routine, why didn't they then inform the minister effectively? Because at the end of the day, the minister is not involved in the day-to-day runnings. He is informed adequately by the councillors and also the BIT, the DA, who then works with the minister. So for the minister then to be there addressing people, indeed he would definitely address people, but at the end of the day he has been informed by people who are on the ground. And for me, I definitely feel that this has been the maladministration part, whereby some people would definitely inform the minister not the right way, in such a way that this will cause such instances that we're having today. So I would say yes, you would find ZANU-PF also having been affected by those issues, but they would have been affected because there were some people who were operationally on the ground, who were working and submitting names, which I believe definitely I would say they would actually look at the list and give people accordingly, not because we're solely responsible for all that.
So this crisis that we have, in your view, is purely an MDC creation that ZANU-PF is going to correct?
I wouldn't say that. What I would say is definitely there's been maladministration when it comes to MDC running councils. And this has led us where we are today. But of course, as ZANU-PF being overall in charge, we then need to take the blame and make sure that we correct all these issues since we're overall in charge. But however, let me be honest and be hastened to say that if you look at all the measures that are happening now, this then we came into the new dispensation, and this is when it was unearthed. Indeed, like I said before, it's this party and that party, yet this is all meant for us to get political mileage in certain ways. Each party can have its own way of creating its own political mileage, but however, to the citizens of Zimbabwe, it won't be a good thing. That's why you see we are now embracing all this to make sure that this has been, and I'm sure if you even had His Excellency, he has said what we need to do is to correct all this and make sure whoever did that, whoever did that, that's not the issue. The issue is about us embracing all children, so that everyone, all citizens, so that at least everyone will have a safe environment and will see that their rights are being observed.
Honorable Musarurwa, you spoke about the issues that you're looking at as a Parliament Portfolio Committee to ensure that these things do not continue happening. But is there in your plan to ensure that those who are responsible for what has happened are made to pay?
Yes, like I said, that we are working towards the issue of victims. Like we have the people whose houses were demolished in Budiriro. As Parliament, we are working towards and to investigate what really transpired so that we can help them. We are pushing also that they get land where it's not going to be flooded as well. And we, in our report, we also gave an alternative that if possible, these people can be relocated.
Mm-hmm. So in your investigation, have you started these investigations or they're yet to start?
They are yet to start. Mm-hmm. We are working also with Committee on Local Government with this report, because our committee does an oversight on wetlands, and then local government does an oversight on the issue of land barons.
Mm-hmm. So, Vincent, Honorable Mavetera has been clear. This is an MDC-caused problem, and that we are here because of mismanagement by councillors elected on your party ticket?
Well, okay, if it's an issue of MDC mismanagement, right now, Blessed, what's going on at council and local government as a ministry, you have situations whereby you have our Mayor Mapfume. He was arrested. You have issues of Mayor Mkunguma. He was arrested. You have issues of your directors. They are arrested. You have issues of council workers arrested. This is interference from central government in the local authorities. Now, when I said we don't want to be cautioning blame, is an issue where we need to find steps on how we move forward. But on how we move forward is when we address these issues that are taking place at councils right now, there needs to be less interference in terms of how councils are operated from our mandate given to us, right? Leave us to run these councils, leave us to run service delivery, leave us to operate the businesses of the councils.
Hasn't the minister only come in when you have failed? I mean, hasn't he given you... And when you say the arrests of these people, aren't they supposed to be arrested if they have done something wrong?
Well, they've been arrested, but there's no case that have come forward. The mayor's case was an example. No tribunal has been set by the minister, but he's on suspension. That's going way out of his bounds, in my opinion. I think some engagements have been made with the minister. We've tried to find common ground in how we can move forward, but we're still seeing interference. Recently, I think as of last week, we had arrests of directors at councils, and now councils can't operate. You see, and it comes back to the fact that I was saying that you have your central government who runs the Ministry of Local Government. Then you have your MDC who's running local government through their councillors. But now it is to no benefit of ZANU-PF, in my opinion, for us to be doing very well in Harare Council. To them, it's a benefit when they see that MDC is not operating the city very well. It plays into the image of the 2023 campaign.
So you are accusing them of throwing spanners into your engine?
Yes.
And what have you done about it?
We're trying to engage. That's the part where I think our president has done an excellent job in calling for dialogue, because these are the issues that we need to talk about. Because we can come here and argue as much as we want. No, yes, you guys are doing this. But these are things that we see on a daily basis. Now, engagement is very important. These are issues that need to be discussed. Because at the end of the day, it's like I said, Blessed, our politics must not fit into the daily runnings of local authorities. Because we've had this game from...
But local authority is politics.
It's politics, but you need to separate your politics from service delivery. Because the moment you start doing that, you suffer from it, I suffer from it, everyone else suffers from it. You see, so these are the issues that need to be discussed when you're now dialoguing. Because when you're dialoguing now, you're saying, guys, let's find a way to move forward from the politics of the day. Let's move forward in terms of delivering, service delivery, issues of how things are run, what. So that's the issues that I was trying to
why Mukupondisa Baskor? You know, because you throwing spanners, as he alleges, you throwing spanners in local authority management, you not only affecting the other political party, you're affecting the lives of other people who are losing money to land barons, who are losing property. You know, after building a house in this harsh economy, you find it reduced to rubble. Why is ZANU-PF doing what Honorable Vincent Tsvangirai is accusing you of?
I think spanners are very cheap. Where can they also get their own spanners and also put it the rural setup? So that we really see that
helps no one.
This is actually a political game. They are very cheap. Let them also get their own spanners, and then they come to the rural setup and they also throw spanners. Let us not play a blame game. It doesn't get us anywhere as a country. As a country, we need to be concerned about the citizens of Zimbabwe, and indeed, as parliamentarians, we are supposed to represent people very well. So there is no way and there is no reason why ZANU-PF would sit down and busy be planning against MDC. The only thing we do is we are a mass revolutionary party, which has got a manifesto that is towards making sure that we satisfy the people's interests. And because of that, that is why you would realize that we are quite popular as a country. we've become a very popular party in that we would try to make sure that we satisfy people's interests. But however, because there are so much every single day, thinking that now we need to dismantle our party and we're going to make it this, today MDCT, maybe MDCZ another day, maybe that's what they're so concentrating on. That's why they're always concentrating, because they're always fighting. They now think that we are also in a fighting habit. For now, our president has said productivity, and productivity. Not for us to be busy thinking of how best can we dismantle
it's
MDC.
not happening.
That is not us. We don't do that as a party. All we do is to make sure we work, and that's why you see we've always worked very much. Where we are actually in control of, we've worked, because we are not there to be buying spanners. Actually, we don't waste money in buying spanners, but we waste money making sure that we provide services where we are actually manning. That's what we do as a country.
But your president, the president of this country, when he was still vice president, I think he once said that unofanira kuya negwara reZANU-PF, kansela weZANU-PF ndiye anokwanisa kugara muoffice ya minister weZANU-PF, then development inoya negwara iro. What did that mean?
What it meant, let me literally say it in Shona. There is never a time vangava vari kudivira tiri vangava vachitaura kuti ZANU-PF unofanira kuita zvinhu zveZANU-PF. Tinototaura zvinhu zvatinobva isu zvatinoita isu seZANU-PF. There was no way that the honorable vice president then would have managed to say go to MDC. That's a campaigning tool that we always use, and they also use for them to make sure that if you need things to then be able to move the way that you want, you need kuti wewe ine murongo handiti ndo zvinotaura zvinhu zvinofamba negwara. So there is no way that we would want kuti pave any interference in a way. So we would want zvinhu zvinombe zvakanaka. What it was just a campaign tool which I believe any person can be able to do. Zvakafanana nekuti wewe uri kukambena chako mukadzi wako unomuti kuti uchida kutaura kune vanhu unotokambena utaura mukadzi wako ungataura zvemukadzi wangu unotaura zvemukadzi wako kuti mukadzi wangu ndiye anogona ndiye anondiitira nekuti that's how it is. So the vice president has every right to speak of ZANU-PF and to say this is where development goes. And besides, you should understand something here, that we are the ruling party. And being a ruling party, we should understand there's some certain benefits that come with us being a ruling party. So if people don't manage to understand that, then we've got a certain problem going forward.
Which benefits?
ZANU-PF is a ruling party, and when you are a ruling party, it means we constitute the cabinet. So therefore, if it means that it will also help us in making sure that things are expedited, if ever we are going to be having that channel. So in other words, all that the vice president then, who is the current president now, His Excellency, he was just trying to say, let us vote for the party. It was a campaign gimmick. And any person can do that. There is no way that they can say ZANU-PF is good. You can ask him, not even one single day. You can never do say that. Even yourself, even your own wife, you would actually say, my wife is the best. There is no way that you can talk about a wife from next door.
Honorable Yvonne Musarurwa, this issue here where the people have lost and there's political play happening, at the expense of livelihoods, has been of serious concern for the people of Zimbabwe. Now, what are you doing as Parliament and also as the MDCT to ensure that people's interests are protected?
Okay, thank you, Blessed. I think, let me start by this blaming game has been there, I think, for the past decade, or for the past 2 decades that MDC has been in councils. And I think at this juncture, we need a permanent solution that will help the people of Zimbabwe. And I propose a piece of legislation that will be put before the Parliament of Zimbabwe that will help to protect the people of Zimbabwe, because everyone right now is looking for a land to build his or her house. And with this blame game, we really need a solution that will come, like a piece of legislation that will help the people of Zimbabwe. That's my thinking.
You said this blame game has been going on for a very long time, but the purpose that we as Heart and Soul TV bring leaders of parliament and political parties to have this conversation is so that we allow the people to understand who has their interests at heart and what they are doing, so that when they vote consciously knowing who they're putting in power. So I want you to be clear as to where do we locate the problem and what are you doing as a political party, as a person who represents the interests of people. What are you doing to change this problem?
Okay, like my fellow comrade, Honorable Tsvangirai has said, we are trying to engage, we are trying to negotiate for the people of Zimbabwe, because we have seen that our councillors, our council workers are taking to court, and the courts are not coming up with a solution. But at the end of the day, we see the people are the ones that are suffering, not our councillors only, not the council workers. So we are trying the route of negotiations to negotiate on behalf of the people of Zimbabwe.
Your councillors are being arrested.
Yes.
Your party is being accused of failing.
Yes.
And you are just negotiating.
Yes, that's the way that we have seen will help us.
I don't know, maybe Blessed, let me come in there. You're saying our party is our councillors are being arrested, our party, and we're just negotiating. Are you expecting us to go on the streets with guns? I don't think that makes...
I've no expectation. I want you to explain. I want you to explain
yeah.
that, I want you to explain so that I'm giving you an opportunity, because I can say it for you because I don't know what you are doing as a party. But so I'm giving you an opportunity to explain that after all this that's being thrown to you, your response is just negotiation.
It's negotiation on the aspects of dialogue. You need to open those communications. I think I had highlighted it earlier when I said my president was the first person who made those the first engagement to the minister and trying to pave a way forward.
Is it working?
I think we're getting somewhere, Blessed, honestly speaking. But I think the fruits of that, those meetings will show with time. But like I said, there are problems. There's corruption. There's issues of legacy issues that are there. But us as MDC, we're trying to move on from those issues, because MDC is a social democratic party. We are there, we are a Labour-backed party in the interest of people and in the interest of Zimbabweans. So at the stage and the juncture we've arrived at right now, we're starting to see, look, our politics moving forward, it needs engagement. It needs for us to speak across the table with, like Tatenda has said, the ruling party. But we need to open those lines of communication. Me and Tatenda may disagree on certain issues, but when we leave here, we're going to talk about real issues that are affecting Zimbabweans, you see. But that's the important part we need to get to. Because at the end of the day, it's like I've been highlighting it, we can argue for as long as until kingdom come, but it helps no one at the end of the day. You see it on social medias, we are kutuka ningi, but what is the average Zimbabwean taking out of kutuka naikoko?
But if I may come in, Honorable Tsvangirai, do you need to have a negotiation or a dialogue for your council to just basically perform its mandate that it was elected to do? Do you need to talk to anyone?
I'll give you an example. Our councillors don't procure things. That's a local government issue. But now if you're having issues with the procurement and your councillors, and you're having political problems within councillors, within council, you have a problem of service delivery because of that. So now when we're saying dialoguing, Anditika, we're saying we need to remove that barrier within councils. If you go to councils on a realistic basis, go there, interact with yourself there. There are problems of politics within council, and that's what we need to remove. Once we remove that, we are going to have real steps moving forward. So
since ZANU-PF is
let me just finish what I was saying. I had highlighted that we don't our councillors don't procure things. Local government does. That's ministry. But now when there's issues of now there may not be enough money going to ministry or whatever, our councillors need to also be in communication with the minister on a one-on-one basis. Minister, tine this problem yagadai. And minister can then go forward, propose to us as parliamentarians. Councillors are complaining kuti atikunyatso procure zvinhu zvakadai, murundi pa budget iri shoma. We need more money. You see where I'm saying we need to dialogue and open communications, because it's a system. Even if you say kuti it's ruling party, but at the end of the day, it's a whole complete system. If the cog does not work, the whole system does not work.
But since ZANU-PF is denying, it's denying that it is throwing spanners. They have denied, and they accuse the MDC for failing. And just this 2 weeks ago at Politburo meeting, President of ZANU-PF, the president of this country, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, told Politburo that it's time to kick out MGC out of councils, local urban councils, because they have failed. Right. So negotiating with you or talking to you would mean that they admit to a certain extent that they are they're throwing spanners. Would that not be the case?
The reality of throwing spanners is
do you
there.
mind?
I
I want
reality.
you to answer at once. Can I please ask something? He asked
ZANU-PF
just
not
to
throw
add,
spanners.
just to add as well. There's the issue that he said ministers, they need to be having a one-on-one with the councillors having a one-on-one with the minister. I would want to ask him to say, does it mean that the minister also is not able to communicate and converse with the local councillors? That's what I would really want him to really emphasize on that. I think it's important. He needs to, so that at least it becomes transparent. As far as I know, there is also the part of parliament whereby we've got an oversight role, even in terms of the councillors as well. Why didn't they come in within their mandate that they have as MPs to come and question? Even when the minister comes, they come and question even in the house to say, Minister, we've not been able to communicate with you. You have not been able to give us this amount. If the purchase is now done at ministry level, why didn't they come? Because they've got that, they can be able to do that as MPs, to come and even ask the minister a question and answer. Why didn't they do that? To show really that there is a problem there.
Blessed, the issues of ministers being questioned, I think Themba Mliswa comes out on a daily today as well. He highlighted it. Ministers don't come to parliament.
Today they actually
today, but in the past they
do.
don't come.
Can you allow him to
Minister of Local Government, I think since I've been in parliament, I've only seen him once when I've been coming. So ministers are not coming for question time. So
maybe
issues like when I say things like there needs to be more open transparency between ministers and councillors, is issues of, like, for example, you have your Mkunguma situation. He's been suspended with no tribunal, no, just nothing. The guy was taken to jail. I think it's 3 times, no, 3 times, with no evidence whatever that has come to the courts. And he's been released on 3 times. So these are the issues that I'm talking about, Blessed, where we need to have a reality check. There are issues, we can sweet talk Panapa TV, Tichiti, ZANU-PF is looking nice here, MDC is but at the end of the day, there are real problems taking place, right? And these are the problems that are affecting council. These are the problems that are affecting Zimbabweans. So, why don't our MPs come to parliament to question? Question now. It will help, but they don't come. Go for your historical checkups, fact-checking. Themba Mliswa talks about it on a weekly basis, in and out. They don't come.
But Honorable Tsvangirai, I hear this call of yours to say, let's stop this blame game, right? But is stopping the blame game? It's not really a blame game, but for me, I'm looking at it as locating the problem and dealing with the problem. If I'm putting my foot on top of yours and you're hurting, and if you keep drinking painkillers, you continue to hurt if I don't remove my foot from it. So can we at this point say, we have this problem of wetlands, we have this problem of unstructured settlements, and it's being caused by this. And if we remove this through negotiations, this will help us.
The issues of wetlands, the issues of construction on those wetlands, those are issues of land barons. And we've discussed that.
Who's the father of the land baron?
I don't know who the father of the land barons are. But we know that the problems is with issues of land barons, and we know that these issues are taking place at council. We've addressed on our part that we're going to tackle that challenge seriously. Ever since President Musarurwa got in, he's taking it seriously. Personally, I'm a Secretary for Presidential Affairs. We are in and out of meetings with people who have solutions, real solutions on how we can fix that issue. But who is to blame? We know these are issues of land balance. Where is it taking place? It's at councils. Who are the ones that are in charge of those, yeah, exactly.
It's you.
And directors. it's a whole complete system that's taking place. Directors, we all know who directors at councils are affiliated with. It's UNPF. So this is the problems that I'm saying. We have problems of politics in the councils. And councillors, for your own example, don't really know much about what's taking place in Kumalens. The issues is with service delivery. Kuti land iri apa, they won't know.
Why? Is that not their business? I mean, is that not
it's
not
what
their
I'm coming
business?
to.
Yeah.
Land barons are not land. Why?
But we elect councillors to know,
And
don't
then these issues go through the directors. And I've told you who the directors are affiliated with. They come to councils, nema stickers our as NPF. Right. So we've identified that, Anditika. But now we need to move forward from there on how on issues of land barons acho kana abatwa gasungwe. They must go to jail without the prejudice or whatever. They must be taken to jail and be persecuted. Because once you give someone an example, from 2008, Malan Barons Paakanya, it's been a problem that we've been letting go on and on and on. And now we have a big problem on our hands. And it's like I've said, issues the Malan Barons zakatanga nenyaya dzekuti ana kaswera na chombo vakaona kutoti rekati gadzire iyi land iyi tovataunza these people what and
don't say what be clear.
Okay, when I'm trying to, because it's a long story. It's a long story. Ndikatanga kudzipinda ka atipedze show yacho. So there are very long outstanding issues, legacy issues. It's not just from it's from the First Republic. They've gotten into the Second Republic, but these are issues that need to be tackled by the president himself of the country, and also by the opposition. Because if you just say with MDC deal with it, my councils enyuka, we only deal with maybe a small portion of the issue, but the bigger issue is also now with central government.
Okay, so I'm going to be taking I'm going to be going through some of the comments and questions that have come through, and please, viewers, please just keep your comments coming, and if you have any questions for this panel, please just put them on our comments section on our HSTV page, and I will put the questions forward for you. Now, one of the questions that I hear, or the suggestions that I hear, is that councillors should not be aligned to political parties because this is affecting service delivery. And someone just supported this and said, I support, this is Tsvangirai Sakarombe, who says, I support this. Councillors should not be elected on the basis of popularity. We are killing our beautiful nation. So they're saying, let us remove politically elected councillors because political parties are playing a political game at the expense of people's lives. Tatenda.
All right, thank you. Well, that can be a good suggestion, but we need to understand something here, that political offices are forever political offices. They are definitely, there is no way we can then deassociate politics from any social aspects or maybe production aspects, I would say. It's a good idea that they're saying, and we thank them for that, but I would think maybe more on the executive side. So that at least the executive runs, because when we look at it, we've got the legislative arm, and we also have the executive side. So I would think that maybe on the executive side, I would think it would really make sense if we do get political people, because they are more on the implementation part and making sure that they formulate policies that would then make the legislature be able to construct and come up with laws. But anyway, it's something worth noting. I'm sure we are hearing it, but I think we need representatives of the people, because at the end of the day, we need people that will be able to represent us from an elected position. So I think it needs then that consolidation whereby we can get the executive not being elected or getting because of meritocracy. I think that would really also help. But also constituting to that, it's good that they say that, but I think we still need to maintain the elective process so that people can also have this democratic action.
Yeah. Honorable Yvonne, Leah here asks, do you have real solutions of number one, dealing with wetland issues, and number two, dealing with those who have become rich while selling land illegally to people?
Okay, to start with the land, with the wetlands issue, we are coming up with a wetlands policy that is going to come from Parliament. Then the issue of those who are parceling land, I think he did been with the Tangatina secretary, chair wetlands. It was going to help us, but let me just put my perspective there. I think the issue of land is very critical, and what we really need to do with is the issue of land barons. Like one said here, that once they are arrested, they must be penalized. I think that's the only solution that will help us, because we've seen quite a number of land barons arrested, but there is
Including your councillors?
Yes, anyone who is parceling land, zvisiri pamutemo ngaasungwe apiwe mutongo wake anzwisise kuti it's wrong, because we cannot continue kusunga vanhu and then we release them on bail without a trial, without sentencing them.
Can I add to
Mbamba
that?
ended up dying without even facing justice, is it?
Yes, vana Kagonye, they ended up released. Vana Chombo, they're still just going kuma courts in and out. So we're just like, we are arresting and we are releasing, and they go back. When the foot kutengesa land yoyo voya nemari, they bribe. You know, the corruption, the chain is not only to councils. The corruption is also judiciary system of Zimbabwe as well. So the chain is long.
Yes, Honorable, you wanted to comment?
Okay, thank you very much. I think what we also need to do as a country is to really look at coming up with a maybe environmental tribunal that will actually investigate into issues, so that at least we really come up with sound evidence on what's really happening on the ground. And even setting up an environmental commission, I think that will also help going forward, so that at least we can then be able, just in line with the constitution, have one which is specific to the environment. Again, we also need to domesticate the Ramsar Convention. Of course, we have signed, we're signatories to it, but until now, the Ramsar Convention on wetlands, we have not been able to domesticate it as a country. So the moment that we then domesticate this, then it becomes a law. Then we then enact an act of parliament going forward at the legislative side. And again, I think we also need to then review or amend the EMA Act. I think it's very important, so that at least they will know, after having come up with a national environmental plan, reviewing it and finding out where exactly are the wetlands, where they're situated, so that we then get the demarcation, and then we will be able to preserve wetlands. And then going forward, what it then means is that there won't be any area which is out there which will be, it will actually know that this is meant for recreational purposes.
Amazing. We are bringing you this program in partnership with Cotrad. Cotrad, they are from Mashingo. It's Community Tolerance and Development Research and Development. Their business is to research on issues that affect the communities and bring in a tolerant way of ensuring that these issues that affect the people of Zimbabwe are dealt with, and that they do not continue to recur, and that we then have development. And in this instance, this program is brought to you in the interest of protecting those that have lost their earnings to unscrupulous land dealers, and the environment itself that is under threat, especially being caused by corruption. And the president of this country, President Blessed Mhlanga, has said that there's need to deal with corruption, to ensure that corruption does not continue being an issue in our spaces. Now, I want to be able to allow our panelists to just probably wrap it up and say, what should Zimbabwe do going forward? What is the best way for us to deal with this issue so that our country can be better and people do not lose money to dealers, wheelers and dealers? Honorable Yvonne.
Okay, thank you, Blessed. Like I said before, we need to come up with a permanent solution. Number one, once we arrest land barons, those who are selling land on wetlands, they must be arrested and they must be sentenced for their cases. Even if they are councillors, even if they are from ZANU-PF, the law must take its full force. towards that.
Honorable Vincent Tsvangirai, yes. As you negotiate, what is really on the table? What are you negotiating to achieve, especially as we look at these illegal land sales? What are you hoping to knock into the heads of those that are throwing spanners and causing this?
On my perspective, from my side, I engage with a number of my constituencies on issues of land because many of them have interest in purchasing land, as all of us do at some point in our lives. But I always caution them on where you're getting your land from, who is saying, Kune ma land are open, things like that. Do your research, know where the land is coming from, basically do your due diligence. But from my side, I think the issues of that are important. Councils need more autonomy. We need to really look back at the legacy issues of what has gone wrong within councils all over, whether it be the ones in the rural areas, whether it be the ones in urban areas. What are the legacy issues? Then we also need, like I said, autonomy of councillors to operate service delivery within councils, but also to persecute those who are doing land barring and persecute them with the fullest extent of the law. I think that's the best way we can teach a lesson for people who want to get into that field. Yeah.
Amazing. Honorable Tatenda Mavetera, I always love calling you Tatenda, but honorable member, what do you do as a ruling party? Because at the end of the day, you as the ruling party, you have effect and control of local government, of the executive arm that actually arrests and prosecutes. You have that control, and also even in the lawmaking strata, you've got that control. What is the thrust going forward to save our Zimbabwe?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to speak on a personal level, though representing ZANU-PF, but I'll speak of what I think has been done currently. Currently, we have had the Minister of Housing and Amenities then coming into play, and also we have the Minister of Local Government also being there. So what is happening there, in my own view, is that there is need for now sanitization and also replanning and also regularization of certain areas. I think this is where going forward we need to do as a party, and I believe right now the President has already started doing that, whereby he established that ministry, which is solely making sure that to areas that can be sanitized or that can be regularized, I'm sure that the Minister of Honorable Garwe is working towards that, and we're quite happy and want to applaud the President for that. But however, when it comes to the legislative framework, I think we need to be coming up with an environmental plan that will stipulate exactly where wetlands are, and then we replan as a country going forward. And again, I think we also need to make the law take its course. And the President has said it, no to corruption, and any person who has been involved in illegal deals, they have to face the full wrath of law. Us being young, as you can see, we are all youthful parliamentarians here. We have got a future that is ahead of us. So this future only can be conserved if we, as young people, are able to preserve what we have now. So what is there is whatever wrong could have been done, it has been done. Fights will not get us anywhere. That's why you see our President has got the thrust of re-engagement, though others have decided not to be part of it. But all we need to do is for us to make sure that we re-engage, we consolidate all efforts together as a country going forward. And this is the thrust that the government has said, that the President has said. That's why after elections, the President said we need to be Zimbabweans, because what unites us is that we are Zimbabweans. So we need to make sure that after this, we resettle affected people according to the Constitution, Section 71. It is so clear on what the government is supposed to be doing. And anyone who would have, because this money, for your own information, if ever it be ZANU-PF, I'll talk of ZANU-PF, if ever there's any ZANU-PF land baron, that money never came to ZANU-PF. It was actually for their own use. So let the law take its course. And totally, as a party, we have said no to land barons, and we have said no. That's why you see we had the Land Commission investigating, and having an Uchena Commission. So no to illegal parceling of land, because that alone is actually, it violates the rights of our people, and then it leaves us at a lesser position than the one that would expect.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would thank you very much for joining me, honorable members. Thank you for coming to my parliament. This is my parliament, the situation right now, where we light this fire under the seats of those in authority. We bring them to account and we ensure that they answer the questions of the citizens and they're accountable to you. After all, it is you who elected them. It is you who gave them the jobs, and it is to you that they should answer. And this program was brought to you by Heart and Soul TV and Radio in partnership with Cotrad from Masvingo. An amazing program. We thank you for partnering with us on this program, and we hope that we continue to have these discussions where we bring leaders to account and we bring leaders to explain what they are doing, their vision, and where they are taking this nation to. I want to thank you very much, Honorable Yvonne Musarurwa, for coming through, Honorable Vincent Tsvangirai, and Honorable Tatenda Mavetera. Thank you very much for Tatenda Mavetera. Sorry, thank you very much for coming. We will leave you watching some of the images of homes that are situated on wetlands. We also some homes that have been destroyed or demolished because they were illegal structures. But till next time, this is me, Dara Renyu, Dara Blessed Mhlanga, and this is Heart and Soul TV and Radio, the heart of this nation. Thank you very much.
dzingadai dziri dzavo mawanzira wanoita dzimba dzavo wanoda kuti suamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mwe chete wanoda kuti suamwe tigare mumiti dzimba 10 pamunhu mwe chete wanoda kuti suamwe tigare mumiti dai pasina kupindira kwaishe chokwadi pasi pano